And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the final tip-off, or in this case, puck drop, of our game of 3 here in games of 9 here at the Burrillville Holiday Classic from Levy Ice Rink in Burrillville, Rhode Island. Final game of the night between the Ponagansett Chieftains and the Moses Brown Quakers. I'm your play-by-play commentator once again, Chris Hetu, in the box today to talk about both these teams. And we're almost ready to go here, as we are about to get set. Ponagansett taking on the Moses Brown Quakers. Quakers last season snuck into the postseason, making it all the way to the semifinals after defeating Burrillville here in Levy Ice Rink. Nearly made their mark to potentially go to the championship game, but ended up losing to East Greenwich in 2 games last season. So the Quakers trying to make efforts to get back to that location like last year. However, it's going to be a tough hill to climb. They've had some tough games here and there that they haven't really been able to produce on. They need to turn something around. This tournament's a good way to practice that out. And then for Ponagansett, this team is a competitive D2 team. We saw them in the postseason last year. They were competitive against Smithfield, nearly defeating them in the Smithfield Municipal Ice Rink. However, in overtime, Smithfield took the game 1-0 in the non-league game. So we'll see how competitive these teams play. But announcing the starting lineups right now for the Quakers as they get ready to take the ice. And Ethan Garneau, definitely a player to watch on the ice. But if it were me, I would definitely keep an eye as Garneau has joined alongside Roosh. Kyle Bethune, another player to watch. But definitely the man to watch is number 12, Owen O'Farrell, whose name was not announced for the starting lineups tonight. Devin Maloney, your man in net tonight for the Quakers. And now we'll turn our attention over to the Ponagansett Chieftains. And your man in the net tonight for the Ponagansett Chieftains, number 1, James Kavanaugh. And with those starting lineups announced, we'll turn our attention to the flag and remember America for the playing of our national anthem. And with that, we are all set to go for the startup of this one. 22 and a half minutes in each half. And for this tournament, Be sure to, if you want to check out all 3 days, we're here for this game tonight, and then the next 2 days for the remaining 6 of the Burrowville Holiday Classic. If you want to check out your game passes, if you have a high school hockey season pass already for the winter season, you have access to all the games in this tournament, so you can watch any of the matchups that go on. But if you don't, and you'd like to check out your individual team's game, we have you covered there. We have individual game passes that you can purchase, once again, at fansonlysports.com. That's sports with a Z at the end of the word. So go to fansonlysports.com so you never miss a moment's action of high school hockey here in the state of Rhode Island. And from this tournament, the Burrowville Classic. So with that, both sides have exchanged their good lucks to one another as we are ready for the final game between the Chieftains and the Quakers as we hit center ice. And we are officially underway from Levy Ice Rink. Off the face-off. Chieftains looking to dump this one into the zone. Flipped around the back that time of Bethune. Bethune to meet it first. And it's flipped away that time instead by Jeffrey Larson. This one rifled downhill from, that's going to be Austin Amaral. And now back at center. It's fed up that time to Gabe Mamdani. Mamdani rifling one. It bounces off the pads of the man in net. That's Kavanaugh. Now at the point, dumped back down by Travers. And sent back the other way. And a whistle called for icing. And instead, we're actually going to get a penalty. Penalty going to be charged to Steven Varesco. He's entered the box for 2 minutes, and we'll find out in just a moment what the penalty is called. Didn't really get a clear here of what the official call on the floor was for the penalty, and so we'll end up facing off on the Chieftains side of the ice. Today's game is brought to you in part by Joseph Lammy, 696 Reservoir Ave in Cranston, Rhode Island. For consultation, go to josephlammy.com for more information. Joseph Lammy, attorney at law. And then by our elite recruits with access to 3,000 schools and 80,000 coaches across 38 NCAA sports. For athletes looking to play at the next level, be seen by going to our elite recruits. Go to www.oureliterecruits.com to sign up for more information. Larson bringing it up ice. Flips it over that time to Aiden Agarwal. Agarwal trying to deke between defenders. And it couldn't be poked back in by Larson. It's dumped away instead by Jake Rabello. And the Chieftains PK unit gets itself a line change. Bethune behind the net. 1:15 to go on the penalty. Bethune with the lead forward. He'll get it that time as it's dumped in to Will Carosi. Sent around the back. Ethan Garneau trying to get on top of it. And instead the Chieftains will clear it back at center. Taken away by Brennan Printer. Printer dumping it into the zone. Right on top of it is Carosi. Under a minute, 50 seconds to go on the power play. Back to Carosi. And Carosi dumps it into the zone. And icing going to be the call on the floor. And so we'll face off on the Quaker side of the ice with 39 seconds left on this power play. And the Quakers off the face-off will come up with it. Baxter. And dumped back in that time as Gunnar London was trying to get a hold of it. Baxter has it and flips it behind the back that time over to Travers. Passing Travers and Jack Travers trying to get after it. And Maloney comes out of the box to stop it for Baxter. 15 seconds left on the penalty. Ponagansett been doing its diligence to keep it in as it's dumped in by Amaral. And stick caught up between the defender. And that will conclude the power play as the Chieftains get back to full strength. Nelson dumps it into the zone as Maloney stops it in its tracks for Travers. Max Travers with the feed that time to Baxter. Back to Max Travers. A hard body check there as Gunnar London couldn't dump it into the zone. And this one goes all the way around. And back at center, blocked by Cabe Mandani. Kavanaugh stops the puck as the Quakers get a line change. And this one bouncing off the protective glass to neutral ice. Bethune. This one way out of play, and we will stop action. Just under 19 to go. So we'll come face off back at center ice. Quakers come up with the face-off win as Larson shepherds it. Flips it around the defenders and over the top to Tasker Ladies. At the top of the zone, blocked down and shuffled by Trevor Rose. Tasker Ladies sends it behind the net. And a chance was set up in front that time from Mamdani. The Chieftains intercept it. And it's kept in, but now brought up front by Steinkamp, and a whistle to stop play. And we'll face off at center one more time. And puck on the near side. It's dumped in. And Kavanaugh stops the puck. Taking it out is Amaral. And flipped back over that time to Varesco. At center, Baxter to meet it for the Quakers. He'll feed it up front to Rory Merritt. And it was trying to get it over to Aiden Agarwal, but instead Printer sends it up ice. Baxter slipped behind his back that time and boxed out by Agarwal. And back to center ice. Varesco dumps it in behind the cage. Now over to Larson. And a whistle calling the play dead. Looks like we got an offsides. So we'll face off in neutral ice. And on the face-off, both sides appearing to get set. And we're back underway. Richard Scott trying to bring it into the zone as it's taken away by the Quakers off of Bethune. Sent back up to center. And now on the far side, that was Troy Gierby. And it's sent back the other way to Bethune and dumped into the zone by that was Feldman. And dumped at center ice. Rose sends it back into neutral ice. And now Feldman can't seem to escape with it. And now Gierby trying to feed it off that time to Dwyer. And it's dumped away. Puck volleying back and forth through both sides of the ice. And Gierby to chase it down, but Tasker Ladies is looking for a man. Tasker Ladies will find the puck this time. Has enough room that time for Garneau to get in on it. Tasker Ladies, the puck intercepted, nearly intercepted that time as the Chieftains come up with it. Cameron Keeney in front of his bench, and the puck sent the opposite way. Gierby and Tasker Ladies, and now over to Dixon. And a whistle called with just about 16 minutes left to go. And we got a penalty coming against Moses Brown once again. It's going to go, well, against Moses Brown this time. Number 8, Ethan Garneau, heading to the box. And flip back the other way. So the Chieftains will head on the power play. Puck dangling in front. The shot deflecting off on the huge windup that time from Jack Rebello. Not a lot of shots on net so far in this one. Very, very limited margin. And back at center. It's cleared by the Quakers. Under a minute and a half to go on the penalty this time as Bauman flips it up front. And sent back to center that time, over to Larson. Larson sends it right at the man in the net, that Kavanaugh. This is the longest all day we've seen. Only 4 shots on net. That's a total from both sides. That shot lazily handled by Printer and cleared back at center. And a breakaway try for Jack Travers finds the back of the net for the Quakers. Jack Travers on the short-handed attempt breakaway puts the Quakers up 1-0. And you can see he's fired up after that one, and he should be. Does his job, and the Quakers take a 1-0 lead with 1 minute to go on the power play. Chieftains have an opportunity now to actually gain something out of this power play. However, that's deflating to their power play as they gave it up on their own. Carmonti being pressured a whole lot by Baxter, and the Quakers clear it once again. Well, that was Max Travers. Kavanaugh stops it down for Maletti to Shepard. Millette through center. Millette crossing that blue line, and this one deflects into the protective netting with 34 seconds left to go on the penalty. And let's get the word from today's game sponsors. Today's brought to you in part by Joseph Lammy, 696 Reservoir Ave in Cranston, Rhode Island. For more information and consultation, go to josephlammy.com. Joseph Lammy, attorney at law. And by our elite recruits with access to 3,000 schools and 80,000 coaches across 38 NCAA sports. For athletes looking to be seen and play at the next level, go to our elite recruits. Visit www.oureliterecruits.com to sign up for more information. Poked back to center by Agarwal. Chasing it down hard is Marl. Marl being chased down that time by Agarwal, and he effectively clears it back to center. Rose whiffs on the clear to dump it in, and it's flipped behind the back that time of Carosi. Kavanaugh giving it off to Millette. Only 10 seconds, under 10 seconds, in fact, on this power play. And it's bounced back into neutral ice. And with that, the penalty has expired. Quakers. And the whistle to stop play as the puck went out of play. And the face-off on the Quaker side of the ice. It's cleared away by Moses Brown. On the near side. And now the backside. Trying to poke it away that time is Baxter. Chance right in front and whiffed as William Dwyer had himself an opportunity in the slot. And now the Quakers bring it back up to center. Taken away now by Nelson. Nelson dumps it in. Going behind Maloney's net. And trouble getting it past the blue line, and the Quakers effectively clear it. And now the Chieftains trying to get the puck in their offensive attacking zone. This one escaping. Another big chance for Mamdani. And Mamdani a little wide, and another setup opportunity. As that was Gunnar London trying to feed it that time to Seth Feldman. Neither could come up with the possession. Feldman Puck's poked away, but it's trapped down. The pass shot that time, a little wide to the left. That time it was Travers. Cutting back to center ice. And a whistle to call the play dead. Icing, your call on the floor. "13 solid minutes remaining in the first period, as this one's sent back up to center for Rose, and flipped behind the back that time, as it was Jack Rebello trying to get a hold of it. Tasker Ladies flips it back up to center ice, and it's traveling around. That's Alex Wildgoose. And now it's center. Flip behind the back by Travers. It's flipped back up to center to Rebello. Rebello crossing the blue line, and the whistle calling the play dead. Offside's the call on the ice. 12:26. And as we face off, puck sent over to Baxter. Baxter struggling through center as Keeney, was all over it. And Quakers keep the puck in their attacking zone until it's eventually cleared at center ice. Keeney trying to get a hold of it. It's flipped behind the back by the Quakers. And now sent back that time to Amaral. Amaral sends the puck behind the net. Taken away by Travers. Trying to scoot around is Gunnar London, that's Ethan Garneau. A chance here now for Rush, and it's sent behind the net. Aiden Rush was the culprit. And poked back into the zone. Quakers can't touch this one until it gets back to center. Garneau, Ethan Garneau, crosses the blue line. An opportunity as he gets it across in the slot, and the defenders were there to stop the puck in its tracks. Another one sent up in front of the benches, and now chasing it down is Memdani with Caramente in pursuit. And it's poked away that time. Great poke check from Will Cavanaugh. Carmente right in front, and there's a one-man to beat. Back of the net! Jake Steinkamp evens up the accord with a sniper, a slaughter-wrister, if you may. And the Chieftains knot this one up at one apiece. Jake Steinkamp, once again, the man with the credit there. And Ponagansett evens us up with 11 minutes to go. It was just a great design setup of attack on Devin Maloney in the net. But here, maybe a good opportunity coming as Baxter tried to bring it in all alone, but it was poked away by the Chieftains defenders. I know we've seen Warwick be promoted to D1, and now this year, North Kingstown promoted to Division I hockey, but Ponagansett, we've seen them play competitive against Smithfield, and now in this one, we're seeing them play extra competitive against a team such as Moses Brown. Puck dangled all over the place there as the Quakers, at least a couple of shots on net. And now a chance. Shot coming and knocked away. That time the shot was taken by Caramente. Right in front, another chance, and the shot saved. That was the 17 of Will Cavanaugh. Dumped into the zone behind the net that time by Max Travers. Now heading back to center ice. Poked over the top and now dumped in by Travers. Wrapped around the near side. and poked away. Quakers trying to chase it down until Austin Amaral sends it back to center. Jeffrey Larson finds the displaced puck in his own zone. It's poked up front for Agarwal in front of his bench. Seth Feldman couldn't get a hold of that one, and Amaral at center. He'll cut through. Austin Amaral trying to cross it, and that was nearly a dangerous location as Maloney had to come out of the box a little bit. This shot blocked down by the defenders as Nelson tried to deliver a cannon. Right in front of the net that time, Larson. And stopped at the blue line. Being brought up by Veresco. It goes over the top of the net. And Veresco couldn't find anything there. Quakers clear this puck, however. It's going to come back to their side. Icing, the call on the floor. 8:33 left to go in the first half. You're watching the Burrillville Holiday Classic. This matchup between the Ponagansett Chieftains and the Moses Brown Quakers. Score sits at 1 apiece as both sides have been really duking it out. Taken away by Travers off the Quakers' face-off win, using the backboards to the advantage. Rush couldn't come up with it as Printer comes up with it for the Chieftains. That one blocked by Maloney in net. And a great setup that was intended that time for Jack Rebello. However, another great stop. At center, good chance for Garneau. And Garneau's play shut down and sent back the other way. Trapped down and intercepted by Troy Jerby. And now Jerby with the pass up that time to Wild Goose. And Wild Goose's play shut down. Here comes Garneau. Garneau wrapping around multiple defenders before he's eventually checked away. And Jerby coming up with it, flips it behind to the back of the net. Tasker Ladies stopped in his tracks as it's poked away. Brennan Printer redirects. Quakers all over it, and Tasker Ladies has to get on top of it quickly, and it's poked back into Ponagansett's attacking zone. Tasker Ladies. And it's bounced off of Maloney. Sacker Ladies, it's dumped around the back of the net as he couldn't come up with it. Riley Ciros the one to poke it back into play. And Cameron Kennedy tried to get one set up in front. Dixon knocked to his butt and flipped up there to Larson. At the point, Ciros. And Tasker Ladies trying to escape to get in front, but Gunnar Bauman to meet it first for Ponagansett. And a whistle called to stop play. 6:43 to go. So we have a penalty being charged to Ethan Garneau. Going to be a 2-minute penalty. So the Chieftains will head back on the power play once again. Wow. And behind the net, taken away by Amaral. If you hear any of that static here in the stadium, that's coming from our PA box as they're having some technical difficulties with their microphone. This one flipped back up the center. Agarwal trying to bring it across and instead be dumped up by Jack Travers. Now through center, Steinkamp, who had the goal earlier, and now taking it up Travers. Jack Travers trying to navigate by himself around the defenders, tries to flip it in front. And the puck unable to travel across. Not enough Quakers in the vicinity to make a play. Puck wrapped around the backside now for Steinkamp, that's Amaral. And a good chance coming, but wow, a great poke check there from the 17 of Kyle Bethune. This puck, wow, moving all over the place, and the Chieftains still can't find the opening. Agarwal, it's flipped up to the top to Amaral. This one deflected and now cleared at center effectively by the Quakers. Kavanaugh to stop that puck down in favor of his teammate Thomas Millette. 30 seconds left on the power play. And the feed to Rebello. Rebello going to have to, nearly giving that one away. He'll cut back inside through neutral territory with the dump off to Sirios. And now Baxter has to chase it down with Printer on his back. And nearly a scoring opportunity as it's flipped back up ice. However, it's kicked back into the zone by Varesco and now cleared effectively at center. Penalty expires as Garneau came right out of the box, but both defenders, the 16 of Varesco and the 24 of Sirios, were both in the vicinity to make the stoppage. Flips it around the back that time to Roosh. And Roosh tripped up a little bit behind the box. Roosh to Baxter. And it's poked away by the Chieftains. Larson, he'll dump this puck over to Kavanaugh in the net. He'll stop it down. And sent up ice for Dwyer. Will Dwyer. It's poked away that time by Bethune. And there's only one man, Roosh. Roosh has a chance, and it deflects off of Kavanaugh. He had a defender coming in, but a great stop. And now a chance for Nelson. Nelson, it deflects off the defender. Tried to backhand it, goes behind the net instead. Dwyer, nope, taken away by Agarwal. Agarwal, and it's flipped away in play still on the near side. Playing keepaways, Richard Scott at the line. Bauman. This one right in front. A backhanding attempt by Scott. Goes nowhere, and we're back at center. And getting tied up was Bethune and Scott. And now Travers to chase this one down. At center, the puck goes back the opposite way as Memdani's trying to work with a lot of steam. A good chance, the feed right through the legs, and the puck didn't go anywhere near the net that time from Will Carosi. Kennedy, this one going right towards the net, and a glove save with 2:38 left to go in the first half of action. We'll take a break at the end of that half. And we'll be back for the start of the second half. 22.5 minutes as usual. Your score still sitting at 1 apiece between the Ponagansett Chieftains and the Moses Brown Quakers. Right here in the final game of today of day 1 of 3 of the Burrillville Holiday Classic. Jerby is playing some keep away up against the boards until it's eventually dumped off. Kennedy couldn't get enough extension and Larson to chase it down. Sent up front, a good pass as it's dumped into the zone for Baxter. Or excuse me, that time it was Carosi. And at center, that time Baxter has it. He's actually going to have to retreat for it as he couldn't handle the puck cleanly. The dump off to Larson. O'Farrell on the ice for the first time tonight. Or excuse me, Merritt. And now it's dumped into the zone. Quakers going to get a line change. Now being brought up ice by Troy Jerby. Jerby with the dump in. Traveling behind Maloney's net. On the near side. Puck's brought back up to center. Over to the near side to Millette. And it's dumped in. Bethune trying to retreat to center ice. And it's eventually brought up to neutral zone. Sent back the opposite way. Now the other way. No forecheck's able to be established, but looks like we might have a Quaker down as he's slow to get up, and we're going to get a stoppage of play. That's Rory Merritt on his knees on the ice at the moment. We'll take a quick commercial break while they check on him. You're watching Fans Only Sports Network. The ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Let's try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
And we're back as Rory Merritt was helped off the floor after that hit that left him on his knees on the ground. 1:05 to go left in this first half, and we'll face off. And being brought downhill, and a hard hit up against the boards. Under a minute remaining in the first period, otherwise known as the first half in this occasion. And on the near side, both teams still trying to figure out how to get this puck free, and it's eventually brought back to center ice. Amaral with the dump in for Ponagansett. So that one deflected off Maloney, excuse me. Garneau trying to lead Feldman. Gets a good pass to Feldman. Garneau trying to shadow Feldman as this deflected over to the far side glass. And another one coming in hot on Kavanaugh. Not much time remaining in this first period. Teams trying to exchange some shots on net, as that was Larson with another shot and a whistle to stop play with 10 seconds to go. Quakers have brought the score within one, or the Chieftains have, with 10 seconds remaining here in this first period. And so we'll face off one more time. And back at the point, wind-up shot from Agarwal, and he could tell he wanted that slap shot back. Sending another one down, and another big save. And that will conclude the first period of action, as Kyle Bethune couldn't find the hole between the 5-hole. Score sits at 1 apiece after the first half of action. We'll take a break and be right back for the start of the second half right here on Fans Only Sports Network. The ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Let's try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
The ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Let's try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
The ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick. Goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires. Deflected. No. Rebound. Score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick. Goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires. Deflected. No. Rebound. Score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick. Goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires. Deflected. No. Rebound. Score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick. Goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires. Deflected. No. Rebound. Score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick. Goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires. Deflected. No. Rebound. Score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick. Goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
And fires. Deflected. No. Rebound. Score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick. Goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
in, and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Comes in, fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In, and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Comes in, fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone!
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the conclusion of this one, potentially, as we hit the second half. We are back underway from Levy Ice Rink here in the Burrillville Holiday Classic between the Ponagansett Chieftains and the Moses Brown Quakers, score sitting at 1 apiece. Icing going to be the call on the floor, and we'll head back to the opposite side. Let's get a word from today's game sponsors. Today's game is brought to you in part by Joseph Lammy, 696 Reservoir Ave in Cranston, Rhode Island. Visit josephlammy.com for more information and consultation. Joseph Lammy, attorney at law. And then finally by RR Elite Recruits, with access to 3,000 schools and 80,000 coaches across 38 NCAA sports. For high school athletes looking to play at the next level, be seen by going to RR Elite Recruits. Visit www.rreliterecruits.com to sign up for more information. And this one goes into the midst of Kavanaugh, and that'll stop play with 22:02 to go. And the Quakers come up with the face-off. A rifle of the shot into the stomach of Kavanaugh for Max Travers. And we'll get a stoppage of play after the save. And the Chieftains come up with the face-off win, dumped along the boards by Riley Ciros. And Kavanaugh to glove this one down as it goes right to him. 21:50 left to go. We thank all of you folks who have tuned in to every single one of our broadcasts, not just from the fall season, but of course this winter season. But we know some of you out there definitely are missing out on some of the action. Go to fansonlysports.com. That's sports with a Z at the end. And check out any of our live stream games. If you want to view the tournament games, they're all available to purchase online. If you have the season pass already for high school hockey, you can watch any of these tournament games right here on Fans Only Sports Network. However, if you would rather just watch your team only, you can buy single game passes. We've got you covered there. And a whistle called to call the play dead. And it's a high stick call. Going to go up against number 2, Riley Nelson. He'll hit the penalty box. Or excuse me, maybe they're not. Nope, never mind. No penalties to be called. Correction there. But once again, we've got you covered. Go to fansonlysports.com. That's sports with a Z at the end to purchase your game passes there. Rose dumps it along the backside. And it'll come back forth to neutral ice. Printer. And now the dump off that time to Rebello. At center, it's poked in. in the Chieftain side of the ice. Puck displaced as neither side can seem to come up with it. And it'll come back to neutral. Now Rebello. Rebello. Chance right in front. Maloney with the save. And now Bethune will patrol back to center as he's all tangled up. He'll kick it forward that time to Seth Feldman. And neither side can seem to poke the puck into play. And Travers going to have to dump it in. And a line change coming for the Quakers. Amaral, he'll dump it along the near side. And now at center, it's dumped back in off of Carosi. And cut back to center. Good chance for Rebello to get set. Hit from behind, as that was Justin Baxter. And being brought back on the far side. It's dumped in. Along the backside boards, Garneau. Under 20 to go in the second half. And Agarwal flips it over to the near side. And now back to center, Agarwal. And being brought back the other way to Kennedy. And a good job by Jeffrey Larson to box it out and clear it back through center. Delayed penalty coming. Or maybe not. The referee put his hand down. And wrapped around back to the near side. Sent up by Bethune. And it's brought back in the opposite direction. Max Travers to chase it down with Nicholas Flory on his back. Whoa, hard cutback that time. Some good movement. And given up to Sacrilades, but it's dumped back in by Cameron Kennedy. Gunnar London was in front of the bench, trying to come away with it. Bethune looked like he needed some help. That was some interesting movement there. However, the Quakers managed to get it into their offensive zone. Jiraby flips it up front, now flipped away by Will Cavanaugh, and dumped back in, and it stays in play. Back at center, Max Travers deflecting it off the boards and kept in play for Aiden Rouge. And now Larson trying to chase down a man as it's brought right in front of Maloney. The left side of the net was completely exposed. And a great save again. And whistles called to stop play, as there might have been some interference that could have occurred. But it's going to go against the Quakers as Max Travers is called for the penalty. And he's going to get a cross-check call. .8:12 to go, 2 minutes on the minor penalty for a cross-check. And the Chieftains will head on the power play for the first time in this half. And taken away by the Quakers. It's going to be cleared at center ice and being shepherded by Will Carosi. Carosi, it's poked away from him, and now Garneau trying to cross that blue line. He'll just dump it in. On the backside, it's going to be shepherded by Millette. Millette with the feed to Rebello. Rebello tries to cut back the opposite way. And Millette lets that escape the blue line, and they'll have to get onside. To the far side to Amaral. Amaral with the backhander to Printer. And brought back into the zone. Maloney using the backside boards to clear the puck away. And it'll come back to center. Millette cuts back the other way as Garneau is on top. And back at center ice, it's going to be tracked down by Larson. And deflected off of the shin pads of Millette. It's kept onside. And under 50 seconds remaining as the Quakers get fresh skates after clearing the puck. 40 seconds to go on this power play. Steinkamp sets it up, and right in front of the Quakers bench. And now the Chieftains come up with it. Varesco dumps it into the zone. Under 30 seconds to go. Quakers playing as much keep away as possible. They haven't allowed any shots on net throughout this power play. Here comes Agarwal. It's sent to the far side, near. Sirios will deke his way through center and send it up and dumped in by Caramante. No icing to be called. The power play has expired. We're back to full strength hockey. On the near side. Some good movement there from Steinkamp, but it's shut down again. And good lead back to center for Mamdani. And it escaped him as both 16s, Mamdani and Varesco, continue to fight for this puck. It's being kicked along the boards a whole bunch as the puck can't seem to find separation. And traveling behind the net now. That time Feldman trying to poke it away from Sirios. Sirios behind the net. Using the backboards to his advantage. A good chance coming up front. And it looked like Jack Travers was trying to get a setup, but nobody in the vicinity for him to deliver a one-timer shot. On the far side. Brought up by Nelson. Trying to set up a man in the slot, but the Quakers shut that down. Here comes Travers. Now it's dumped over to Rose. Puck scampering away, including some sticks. This shot banging off a defender. And excuse me, that was Carosi out on the floor. The 18 of Carosi. And on the behind Kavanaugh's cage, excuse me. And now on the far side, being brought up by Jereby. Jereby. And trying to backhand it right in front. And a big save by Maloney. At center. It's flipped ahead by Feldman, and the Quakers will finally get a line change. And we're going to get our icing call. First one in a while with 14:19 to go. And we'll get a face-off on the Chieftain side of the ice. Let's get a word from one of today's game sponsors, Precision Home Lending.
Want to close your home purchase or refinance faster? Contact me, David Delbonis, at 401-487-7379, President Precision Home Lending. Trust the experts and we'll make your loan experience amazing.
And back into the hockey action. Being brought up ice this time. It's scampering right by the 9 of Rebello as it's wrapped around Maloney's cage. Now sent to the top of the zone. Dumped back in by Sirios. Wild Goose trying to fight for this one. Get some separation for Printer. At the top, rifled back down. Breakaway chance coming. Gabe Mondani all by himself. One-on-one with Kavanaugh. Mondani finds the back of the net. It's a good goal for the Quakers. Gabe Mondani saw the daylight, took the chance, and found it on the glove side. Hits the top shelf where Mama puts the cookies. And the Quakers take a 2-1 lead. Sending it behind the net, back towards near center. And going back to the far side, Rose flips it up to center and it escapes past Carosi. Traveling over for Bethune. And poke being puck being poked away a whole bunch. Garneau getting some separation to get Agarwal a chance. And it's shut down by the Chieftains. Quakers trying to reestablish. And now Ethan Garneau making a couple of men miss. Garneau off of Kavanaugh as the puck dangled there for a hot sec. And it's dumped back in. Garneau, another chance. Cuts back in to the right, and it's taken away by the Chieftains. Liam Dixon clears it. And we'll get the whistle. Icing going to be the call on the floor with 12:29 to go in the second half of action. Score 2-1. Quakers take the lead off of a great breakaway chance from Gabe Mamdani. And they take the advantage here in game 3 of 3 here in Burrillville from the Burrillville Holiday Classic. This one rifled down from Will Plum. And puck dangling a whole bunch, and it'll come back to center. And a good chance from Mamdani again, being left all alone. This one going over the top and away. And coming back the opposite way, a big chance. And Maloney. Wow, the Chieftains were right on the doorstep there. As that was Mason Caramonte, who was knocking on the doorstep of Devin Maloney, but another great save. Chieftains playing a very competitive game. The Quakers, they've been playing some good hockey themselves. These are two balanced teams that we've seen today in this tournament. All teams have appeared quite balanced in the tournament as of thus far. On the far side, trying to set up Wild Goose as this one's deflected wide to the right. That was a great crosser that was set up by Jack Rabello. And now back through center. Chasing it down there is Austin Amaral. Amaral gives it to Alex Wildgoose. Wildgoose trying to poke it away. Aiden Agarwal nearly got some separation. Wildgoose able to make up for the mistake. It's kicked down by Bethune. Crossing the blue line at center, trying to set up Agarwal as it goes right past him, and now Rabello finds it. Rabello has one man to beat, trying to escape it around, and Maloney! Another big save as there was nearly an opportunity off the rebound. .11:01 to go in regulation. Your score 2-1. Moses Brown leading in the affair. And we'll get a face-off. And puck over the top of Maloney. And it's rifled around the backboards by Kavanaugh to the near side. And right in front of Maloney as that one nearly found the crease. And the Chieftains effectively are shut down once again by this Quakers defense. However, we're seeing them some good chances they're getting set up. Devin Maloney just doing a great job in the net tonight. On the near side. It's deflected back in by Kavanaugh. And a hard hit up against the boards by the big body Jake Steinkamp. And a good shepherding opportunity there as Aiden Roosh had some trouble trying to gain the separation. Max Travers going to have to help him out here. Under 10 minutes to go in the second half. Score 2-1. Travers rifling one right at Kavanaugh. It's going to deflect off to the left. Cuts back to center. Travers didn't see where he was going as Riley Nelson tripped him up. And nearly a good opportunity for Richard Scott to get set. However, here comes Will Carosi. Using the far side boards to his advantage. It'll be Sirios to make the first contact. This shot nearly finding the crease that time, as that came from Jeffrey Larson. Now cutting back into center. Scott. Richard Scott getting tangled up a whole bunch. Garneau trying to deflect it away, but instead Will Dwyer will end up with it for Ponagansett. And Maloney making the safe decision to glove this one down and stop play. 9:13 to go in the second half. And so we'll face off down on this side of the ice. A lot more hockey action to come here on the network, as we've got 3 more games here tomorrow from Burrillville. This shot hits the ceiling, out of play. But once again, we got 3 more games here tomorrow and the next day at Burrillville. We've got the Prout tournament from the 27th through the 29th, as well as the Mount St. Charles tournament from the 27th through the 29th. Never miss a moment's action. Get your single game passes if you only want to watch your team, or if you already have your season passes or would like to purchase one, you can watch any of the games right here on Fans Only Sports Network. Go to fansonlysports.com. That's sports with a Z, and purchase your live stream passes there. 9:05 to go here in the second half. As the puck hits the floor, good scoring opportunity chance. Maloney off the rebound. Big save, and the Chieftains whiff on the opportunity. Sent around to the far side. And now back to the point. Rifled down and knocked down by his own man. But a good chance, set up, shot, score! Alex Wild Goose answers back for the Chieftains, and they knot things up at 2. A great setup from the 9 of Jack Rabello, and Alex Wild Goose finishes off the deal, and the Chieftains narrow things up with 8:47 left to go. And just like that, this score got a whole lot more interesting, and this game got a lot more interesting off of that shot. Devin Maloney definitely caught off guard by that one, as that rifle of a shot there from Alex Wild Goose etches them back into the scoring category. Agarwal, a mouthpiece, went AWire by the looks of it, or someone's pads of some sort. And coming back in the opposite way, going across. And Sacrilades looked like he was trying to feed it that time over to Gunnar London, but London not in the vicinity. Agarwal gloved up by Kavanaugh. And the save made. With 7:59 left to go in this second half of action, we might have ourselves a second overtime game today. First overtime game secured, 2-1 win by the Cumberland Clippers over the East Greenwich Avengers. And off the face-off. This one's sent down ice and now brought back to center. Kavanaugh making the stop behind the net. And now back at center. Brought in by Baxter. It flips behind the back of Roosh, and it's dumped into the zone past Feldman. Feldman will dump this one in as it comes back to him. At center ice, Feldman dumps this one back. Jerby, that time up to Keeney. And brought into the stomach of Maloney for the save. 7:13 to go. And we're back in play. Garneau coming back to center. Ethan Garneau crosses the blue line. Garneau trying to set up a man in front. Oh, a great save that time. The 18 of Will Carosi couldn't break the net of Kavanaugh. And the puck still dangling on the floor. The Chieftains dodge a bullet, another one going right by them. That time it was Gabe Mamdani, the man who had the breakaway goal earlier. And this one shuffled back to center. Wild Goose and Derby bouncing the puck around a whole bunch before it finds the skates of Kyle Bethune at the blue line. Travers flips it over. It was intended for Mamdani, but taken away by Caramente. Caramente with the feed to Will Cavanaugh, and it's poked back behind the zone. Garneau flips it up to center, intended for Mamdani to take away, but it'll be met there by Gunnar London. Sacralades keeps it on side as he dumps it in. That shot going wide to the right. Jeff Larson at the point, sending one down, and Cavanaugh brings in another tough save. 5:56 to go, and we might be heading to overtime potentially if neither side can break through on the scoreboard. Flipped around the backside, coming back to center ice, and now into the Chieftain zone. Sirios was nearly intercepted that time by Aiden Agarwal. Very dangerous pass. Chieftains playing some keep away. Here they come. Sirios through center. Sirios cuts back to the middle. This shot travels behind the net as it was a little wide. Trying to use the glass to his advantage. Larson and Agarwal try to fight for it. Gunnar London's going to have to come in and help him out, and he'll clear it back to center. Sacralades trying to chase down Varesco, who dumps it in. Larson traveling behind the cage and trying to come up front with it. Toss back to center past Sacralades. And Cavanaugh going to stop at action with 4:59 to go. Let's get one last word from today's game sponsors. Today's game is brought to you in part by Joseph Lammy, 696 Reservoir Ave in Cranston, Rhode Island. For more information and consultation, go to josephlammy.com. Joseph Lammy, attorney at law. And then finally by our elite recruits with access to 3,000 schools, 80,000 coaches across 38 NCAA sports. For high school athletes looking to play at the next level, be seen by going to our elite recruits today. Go to www.oureliterecruits.com to sign up for more information. That puck traveling out of play with 4:59 to go. And we'll get a face-off. And poked back up ice. It's dumped in. And crossed right in front. Nearly a wide open scoring opportunity from Riley Nelson trying to feed it to Liam Dixon. Garneau through center. Garneau mishandling the puck. It becomes displaced. A good chance as it's flipped over the top for Jack Travers. It hits the top of the net and back out. They didn't call it a goal, however. Wow. Wow. All I can say, ladies and gentlemen, to that is wow. That was without a doubt, in my opinion, a good goal. But it's knocked away. All by himself. The chance. He gets it in this time. The 16 of Gabe Mamdani finds the back of the net for the second time this afternoon. And the Quakers, with 4:05 remaining, break through the tie and make it a 3-2 lead. The Quakers gave up the lead to allow the tie to occur, but they didn't give up, and they find themselves back in it and ahead. 4:04 left to go, and a timeout called on the floor. We'll let them take a timeout as we hit a break real quick. Your score 3-2. With 4:04 remaining, Quakers lead the Chieftains. In, and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Fires, deflected, no, rebound, Try a kick. Goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher. Shot scores! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
And we're back. Score 3-2 as Gabe Mamdani found himself his second breakaway goal of the day. And the Quakers lead at 3-2 with 4:04 remaining. And the Quakers win the faceoff. And Kavanaugh going to pull the smart one and stop the play dead in its tracks with 3:58 remaining. So we'll face off once again on their side of the ice. And Quakers, it's drawed on the face-off. Wild Goose through center. He already has a goal in this one, and Maloney makes the save there, extending out of the box to glove that one down. And this one traveling behind the net of Maloney and onto the near side. And it'll be flipped up back to center. And dumped in from Baxter. Chieftains need to make haste as there's not much time remaining. And traveling up front is Rebello. Jake Rebello caught up, and he'll fall over on that one as Will Carosi try to get a hold of the puck, and it's cleared back to center by a Chieftain. Larson traveling around the backside. He'll cut back in and send it up front, and it's dumped. Intended for Travers, but instead Carosi will take it. Carosi, this shot a little wide to the left. Under 3 minutes to go. The score 3-2 Quakers. Carosi flipping it behind his back and now met by Verisco. And a hard push at center ice on Kyle Bethune. And the Quakers nearly giving up an opportunity. But a good check. Here comes Garneau. Has Travers to his right, but a good poke check that time from Austin Amaral. And the puck trapped down in front of the bench. Taken away by Veresco. And puck sent back to center. And Maloney with his hand up, icing the call. 2:05 remaining in regulation. And the Quakers off the face-off win. Agarwal winds up, and Kavanaugh catches that one in cleanly for the save. 2 minutes all day. And puck cleared back to center. And nearly flipped out of play, but it'll stay in as it deflects off the boards. Juraby sends it up ice. And now Baxter to chase it down. Baxter shepherds the puck away. Trying to play keep away from Rebello. And it's flipped up to center ice. Right in front of the penalty box is Juraby trying to get it away from Mamdani, and Mamdani dumps it off to Agarwal. Agarwal letting some time chip off, and he'll send it to the near side that time. Baxter clears it at center and gets it on up. It's intercepted by Juraby. Juraby. And taken away from Roosh. Roosh whiffs on the pass. And a shot bouncing off of Maloney. And a good chance right in front in the slot. And couldn't get the extension. Jeffrey Larson at center. Has one man to beat. Ponagansett was trying to get Kavanaugh off the ice, and he really had to backpedal to catch that one. Nearly traveling into an empty net. 57 seconds to go on a nail biter here, and we're going to have a face-off on the Chieftains side of the ice as they were trying to pull that goaltender to get the extra man out. "57 seconds to go, and the score 3-2 as the Quakers lead. However, the Chieftains, we're going to get another timeout called. 3-2 left, 57 seconds remaining. Quakers lead the Chieftains. We'll be right back after the timeout. In, and oh, the ball's loose. He'll cough it back up, and he'll get across for the touchdown.
Rodriguez rolls out to his right, throws it back in the end zone, intercepted in the back of the end zone.
Comes in, fires, deflected, no, rebound, score!
The handball shot off the post, score!
Gonna try a kick, goes in!
Taken away on a stretcher, shot, score! Cornell down the field, end zone! That is a touchdown!
In, and oh, the ball. And we're back. 57 seconds left. Score 3-2. Quakers lead the Chieftains with not much time remaining. Chieftains looking to clear this effectively out of their zone and pull James Kavanaugh from net to get an extra man on the ice. The face-off. Quakers come up with the win. Taken away by Travers. He's just trying to trap it against the boards until time expires. Clock chipping away. And it's poked away. And it's nearly knocked into the spectators. Kavanaugh waiting. Still not a lot of time. Only 35 seconds to go. Taken back the other way by Garneau. Garneau dumps it into the zone. Millette flips it around the backside. Dumped in by Feldman. Or excuse me, that was Mamdani. Garneau behind the net. Trying to kill more time off this one. Chieftains might not even get a chance to pull the goaltender as they get it back up to center. Kavanaugh still waiting. Under 10 seconds, and the Quakers dump it back in. Garneau, this one rifled over the top there of Kavanaugh, and that will all but do it. The Quakers did an effective job of killing the clock and securing this one in those last 57 seconds. Score 3-2, the final from Levy Ice Rink, the final game of today of day one here of the Burrowville Holiday Classic. We thank you all for tuning in to today's game, and we'll be sure to catch you hopefully on the next few broadcasts. Quakers, final thoughts. Quakers and Chieftains played unbelievable today. Very competitive, especially from a D2 hockey team. They have shown a lot of poise and talent out on the ice. Quakers, though, stepped up and proved they are a consistent hockey team, and they're going to try and keep this consistency going on throughout the tournament. A good win today by them. Thank you all for tuning into the broadcast. From Fans Only Sports Network, Honduras on camera, I'm Chris Hitu calling the plays. We'll catch you all on the next one and hopefully see you the rest of this week throughout the tournaments. Thank you all for tuning in, and late happy holidays and a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all of you. We will see you all soon.